What's up, YouTube? MW 2009, aka SexyDreamPirate. This here,
The Chaos. How you guys doing?
I've been looking up on YouTube, and I've noticed that it is December 18th, and there's quite a few of our Kaijudo YouTubers who are taking a break right now with it being the holiday season. So I figured I'm going to try and get some stuff up, keep you guys entertained. But in the meantime, I haven't seen any Evo Fury reviews over, the new cards that we got back in November. So I figured throw it up, get some content up. So me and the Chaos are going to do a review on a scale of 1 to 5 stars.
1 to 5. The way we currently have this set up is we're doing monsters first, then like Evos, blockers, blah 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 blah. Then we're moving on to spells.
It's going to be 1 to 5. 1, of course, being piss poor, and 5 being,
must have.
Yeah, amazingly awesome. We're gonna run the color wheel. Start with light. We're gonna do light and water in this video, and then in the upcoming videos do darkness, fire, and then nature, and then maybe just our thoughts.
No.
But to start it off, our 1 cost light card, getting this kicked off, Chasm Entangler. 1 for 2,000, blocker, skirmisher, enforcer. I'm gonna give this card 4 stars. I would say it's just, a 3-star average card. It's a good blocker, 1 for 2,000. It's not lacking any on the power. And the reason I'm giving it 4 stars is it's good Evo bait for Halon and Cobalt.
For the most part, I will agree with that. However, I will say that it's only worth 4 stars if you're running, if you're planning on bringing out the Evo for the enforcers in the light. Because if you're not running that, like you've seen in my monochrome deck, to me, I would choose my Thunder Cruiser over this card any day. Basically, if it's not my deck, this card would get a 3. However, if someone is running a more offensive type of monochrome light deck, or just a light deck in general with a Halon Paragon in it, then I would agree with his rating and give this card a 4 as well.
So you're saying, say 3, and then
3 unless you're running Halon Paragon with it, then 4.
Okay. So next card, moving on to 2-cost creatures, Cloudwalker Drone. 2 cost. It's got 15,000 power normally, and then when you have another enforcer in the battle zone, this creature gets 1,000 power. So if you've got another enforcer, it's sitting at 2,500 instead of 1,500. What do you think on this one?
I'd say a 3 at most. Even with the enforcer bump, it's still uncommon for light to have something that's a tap 2 or tap 3 and have 1,000 power less than what it normally would. I mean, it's 2 for 25, so that's cool. I mean, hell, awesome, and it can break a shield, alright, but what's the fucking card? 2 for 15, if all mana's light, add 20.
Prism Blade.
Prism Blade. Alright, basically, Prism Blade would take priority over this in any sort of light deck if it's monochrome. So I give Cloudwalker a 3 at most.
I think I'm actually going to rate Cloudwalker Drone as a 2-star rather than a 3. The bump that this thing gets is very situational.
It's not even that much of a bump.
Yeah, it's not a big bump. It's extremely situational. The only way that you're going to get this, maybe if you turn 1 Chasm Entangler, and then
turn 2, yeah.
Then turn 2 you get this in,
yeah.
But you have turn 1 and turn 3 to get this guy up to his bump. Otherwise, he's swinging below Stalker Sphere.
Right.
So I'm actually rating Cloudwalker Drone as a 2-star. That's all it's going to get from me.
Right.
The only thing it's really got going for it is an enforcer, so you can drop him and then drop a Halon Paragon on top of it if you have to. But there's better options for that.
Right.
Next card, another 2-drop, the Mono Civ Light card, Prism Blade Enforcer. Heart of Light, when all cards are in your mana zone or light cards, this creature gets 2,000 power and has blocker. So if you're... Normally he's 2 for 1,500, same as Cloudwalker Drone. Not very good. But if you're running Mono Light, or even, on turn 2, you've only got 2 cards in your mana zone and they're light, he's still getting his effect. But in that situation, he's basically 2 for 3,500, a blocker, an enforcer that can evolve, and he can swing. He can swing normally. He's not a blocker skirmisher. So, overall, I'm going to rate this card, I'm going to give it 2 ratings. If you are running if you're running like a multi-civ deck with light, this is not the card for you. You're sitting on a 2. You're sitting on Cloudwalker Drone, another 2-star card. But if you're running a mono light and you don't have this in, you're crazy. I'm going to rate this as 4.5 stars for a mono light deck. Otherwise, you're sitting on a 2-star card.
Right. For my rating on, I'll agree with the 2. If it's a multi-civ, move on. This card is not going to work for you. However, if it's in a monochrome light deck, I'm giving him the full 5 cards. Because like he said, if you don't have this card in a monochrome light deck, you're fucking nuts. This is an ideal card for any monochrome light deck, and for that, it's a must-have. Hence, 5 stars for me.
Yeah, it definitely... Wizards of the Coast did an amazing job setting up the mono Civ cards with this set. Anyways... Moving on to the next one, 3 cost, Shock Sentinel. This one is 3 for 2,500, Evo Shock. Whenever one of your evolution creatures enter the battle zone, tap target enemy creature. What do you think on this one?
3 for 25. See, the lowest Evo they have is a 5. Now, it seems to me this would be something similar to Cliff Cutter, only he's hitting a little bit harder.
It allows you to tap when an Evo drops.
Right. I don't know. For me, I would say 3 stars.
3?
Just concrete 3 stars. I mean, it doesn't say it has to be a light Evo, so it's versatile. It can be used in a multi-civ deck, but... I give him 3 stars just because it's still pretty situational.
Yeah, I'm going to give 3 stars as well. As the Chaos said, the effect is kind of situational. Not only that, but if you don't have a blocker skirmisher ready to swing big or something else, there's a decent chance that you could tap a target enemy creature and still not be big enough to kill it. So the effect... it's so-so, it's kind of situational, but it is 3 for 2,500, so that's better than, 3 for 2.
15 or, yeah.
And I will say this, it is a Storm Patrol, so it does get the Palladio bump if you run Palladio. So card, I'm going to rate it 3 stars as well. Next card, Photon Squad. 3 for 3. Just regular light vanilla. He's a Storm Patrol. There's nothing really amazing about this card. We had Luminar that was a 3 for 3 as well. That is an Enforcer. I'm gonna rate this as a 3.5, really, because it could be a 4. But this one's one of those, if you're running Palladio, then run him. But if you're running an Evo light deck, something that has quite a few Halons or Cobalt, then you're going to want Luminar. It's just, weigh the options. I'm going to say 3.5 stars.
I'm pretty much going to agree with him. I mean, even if you focus your build around Storm Patrols, or even if you focus a mono light deck around Storm Patrol like I do, I'm sure you've all seen my deck profile already. I don't even run him. That's just because I focus mainly on the blocker skirmisher. I prefer the control factor more than the break-in of the shields. I leave that to the really heavy hitters. For him, 3 stars.
Moving on to 5 cost. Twilight Commander, 5 for 5,000. His effect is called Rally. Whenever this creature attacks, you may choose one of your creatures that has less power than this creature and untap it.
Let's see. For that, with that, I'll actually give him 4 stars. Granted, he's a 5 for 5, so he's in that factor he's a vanilla hitter. His rally effect could be used to chain some pretty brutal combos. And up top of all that, he's Skyforce. So right there, he's Evo bait for Ravu the Stormbringer, which is just a really damn good card. And without a Skyforce on the field, there's no chance of bringing him out. Pretty much that's it for me. Just 4 stars through and through. If he was in a multi-civ deck, I don't know why the hell he would be. He's really expensive, and unless you have another Skyforce in there, bleh.
Yeah, you could run other cards. Although, I'm gonna go ahead and say 4.5 stars on this one. He's like, if he just had a little bit more power or Double Breaker, I would say that he is not only amazing but a little bit broken. I think this card is really well balanced. 5 for 5. The only civs that can do that are let's see, Fire with Snap Tongue and Nature with, what is that? Rumbling Pterosaur. Yeah, so I mean, the 5 for 5, he's not losing anything, and he has a really cool effect. And, you know, if you're going vanilla in light 5, you're going to get 5 for 55. So, yeah, I'm going to say 4.5 stars. He's not losing anything, and like the Chaos said, he can be used to chain together some really good shit. I will say that there has been some hoopla about a infinite combo using this card, Alcadeas, and Magma Madness. And basically people are using Magma Madness to bump his attack power up, and then basically attack with him, untap Alcadeas, attack with Alcadeas, untap this card. You know, whenever we get OP, I'm certain that they're going to outlaw trying to do that, because I don't think playing on the power attacker technicality works. But anyways, this card, I'm going to rate it 4.5 stars.
On a side note on the whole Magma Madness thing, the fact is that gives you powerful attacker, not attack power.
Yeah.
So there in the words, that move is not legal, or you're not even supposed to do it.
I know the point of an infinite combo is to find something in the game.
And exploit it.
Yeah, to find something and exploit it. Find something that's broken. But I think people that are trying to run the infinite combo, that infinite combo anyway, are, you know, just trying to push the limit a little bit too much. Anyways, moving on. Next one. Starwing, the vanilla I was talking about. 5,500, Skyforce champion. Vanilla Beat Stick. I'm gonna say 3.5 stars. Because its average for light is what is expected for light. 5 for 5,500, you're not losing anything. You're already above every other civ as far as power cards go. But he doesn't have any effects that make him, you know, above average. The only thing that he's got going for him that makes him anything close to above average is the fact that he is one of the cheapest Skyforce champions out there. So I'm going to say 3.5 stars.
With me, I pretty much agree with everything he said, only I don't like doing the half thing. So 3 stars for me.
Next, moving on to Evos, another 5-drop, a staple for a lot of people. Halon, Paragon of Light, 5, 8,000 attack, Evo for Enforcers, and Double Breaker. So what do you think?
Obviously right there, if you're running Enforcers, especially in a mono light deck, if you're trying to focus on offense like I was mentioning earlier, if you're running a shit ton of Enforcers, then Halon is a 5. He is an absolute must-have staple. However, if you're running a multi-civ, I'd probably lower him down to about... If it's a 2-civ, I'd lower him down to a 4. The more civs you guys keep knocking away stars, because the more civs you're adding, then the more core staples you're going to need. So you're not going to have room for Evos. For the most part, I think Halon's a brilliant card. I mean, I don't even run very many enforcers aside from Prison Blade in my deck, and even I have won the duel because I pulled him out. So for that matter, he's at the least 4 stars, even in a 2-civ deck, and in a monochrome, without question, 5.
I'm gonna say, I think I'll actually give this card 5 stars as well. It's an excellent Evo, 5 for 8,000, so you're not losing anything. It's what should be expected out of light. He's a double breaker. He's got tons of cheap Evo bait, and whether you're mono-civing or if you're 2-civ, 3-civ, if you run 3 Chasm Entanglers, it is pretty much guaranteed. I mean, I'm not going to say it is guaranteed, but it's pretty damn close that by turn 5 you've drawn at least one of them, if they're not already out in the field. And plus, there's tons of other good enforcers. Stalker Sphere, what was that other one?
Prison Blade.
Yeah, Prison Blade. There's a lot of good enforcers out there for him to evolve off of. And then, in a pinch, if you need a shield, you can still drop Cobalt on top of this on turn 6 after he's swung on turn 5. So, I mean, fantastic card. I'm going to give it 5 stars. Alright, moving on to another light Evo, 6 cost, Cobalt, the Storm Knight, 6 for 6,500, Evo, double breaker, and he has Grid Charge. When this creature enters the battle zone, you may put the top card of your deck into your shield zone face down as a new shield. So basically, we got a little bit of shield creation for light.
Alright. Okay, like I said, this pretty much going to be like the exact same thing I just said for the Paragon of Light. If you're running heavy on Enforcers, he's a 5. Pretty much you got to have him unless there's something you're focusing towards that doesn't need him. Basically, in that case, he'd just be something really good, because you're recharging shields. Granted, you're top decking, so they might not get to your hand as soon, but they're going into your shield, so they're going to be in your hand regardless. Plus, there's always that off chance that you can pull like a Storm Spark Blast or Helios Rings or hell, even a fucking Sunshot can change the course of battle, in a fraction of a second. With that being said, for a monochrome, once again, 5 stars. For a multi-civ, I'd say 4. Yeah, I'd say 4, but without question, I would probably choose him over Paragon of Light. It'd be a difficult decision because I'm more of a brute force type of guy. But obviously, there's a clear advantage to being able to recharge your shields.
I'm gonna rate Cobalt as 4 stars. I like Halon of Light a little bit more. Basically, 6 for 6,500 is. I know he's creating a shield. It's a recharge on wheels, but there's. Sometimes one shield really does make the difference, but by turn 6, if you're depending on one shield to make a difference, you're kind of in trouble.
That's right.
So, I mean, he's a good Evo. It's double breaker. You can drop him on Halon next turn. I'm just going to rate it 4 charge because I think he's, 4 stars. I think he's lacking a little bit in the power department. If he was 7,000 or 7,500, he'd be 5. Don't get me wrong, he's totally playable, but he's not God. It's good, but it ain't phenomenal.
Technically, God is of creation. Creation of S.H.I.E.L.D.
True.
Coincidence?
I think not. All right. Moving on to our last light creature, the super rare 9 cost Orion Radiant Fury, our first ever English Celestial Dragon. Didn't even have him in old DM. 9 drop, 10,500 attack. He's double breaker. When he enters the battle zone, tap up to 3 of your opponent's creatures. Whenever he's banished, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You can put any number of creatures of non-evolution light creatures from among them into the battle zone. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. I don't even know where to begin with this card. This card is crazy good. It is phenomenal that Light got a card this good. There's a lot of people running this card with the Lepidose, you know, turn 8, Lepidose, turn 9, drop in Orion, tap everything, swing at a bunch of it, shields going to mana, just shenanigans everywhere. I'm going to rate this card 5 stars without a doubt. There's very few cards that can swing over it. The going in effect is amazing. The going out effect is amazing. He's double breaker. Basically, unless they've got a root trap into their hand, they're super screwed. If they do have that root trap, they're only prison raped. I mean, this card is amazing, just all the way around.
Just like that analogy.
Yeah, there's just a handful of cards that are grouped with this one that are this crazy good. Just shenanigans everywhere.
What he said. Definite 5 stars. No fucking question about it.
Doesn't even matter, like, whether you're mono-siving or multi-siv, 2, 3. I've seen people running it in 4 sivs.
It's so good that even if your opponent is running Evo Tats on the field, and this guy comes out, even Evo Tats is feeling a bit prison bitch jumpy.
Oh yeah.
So
definitely. Going in and tapping a bunch of stuff, it's, you know, you can swing with your blockers, skirmishers, get that out of the way. I mean, just all sorts of crazy stuff going on there. This card is a game changer without a doubt. And then, you know, if they Terror Pit it, if they throw a Slayer at it, because Terror Pit, Root Trap, a Slayer, Tekimura, Evo Tats, and that's pretty much it. That's just about all that you can do. And half of those have to wait until after he attacks before they can do anything. So, I mean, this card is mean, crazy good, love it. Can't say enough good things about it. Prison rape!
I just thought of something sick should say on YouTube.
Alright, we're going to move on to the spells after we've gotten over that 5-star god. Recharge. 4 cost. Top deck, create a shield. What do you think?
Oh, I don't run it. Blah, blah, blah. Mainly because it's not a shield blast, and I have enough decisions as it is when it comes to a tap 4 card. However, obviously, the advantages of pulling a shield and basically recharging a shield are obvious. For that, 4 stars. Flat out.
I'm going to go ahead and agree. Recharge. 4 stars. Creating a shield you can't ever go wrong with, because using this you can get up to 6 or 7. I've seen people play all 3 of them in one game. So, I mean, you can just do some crazy stuff with this card. In Old DN, they had a card. It was a light card. It was called Sundrop Armor. It was 4 cost, create a shield from your hand. Now, using that, I mean, you could drop a spell in, so you're sitting on a shield blast, which is nice, but at the same time, you're losing a card in the process, so it kind of hurts on your options. But, you know, top decking a shield is always good too. So, granted, you don't know what's going in there, but it does buy time. I'm going to say 4 stars. And our last light card, Helios Rings. 5-drop, Shield Blast.
Tap 2.
Yeah, tap up to 2 enemy creatures.
For me, I say that's a 5. I mean, the only other spell card I would rate 5 stars in the light save is Storm Spark Blast. This is still 5 stars because with Storm Spark you're only running 3 cards that can tap enemy creatures, and with Storm Spark if the person has 1 or 2 monsters on the field and it's early game and they break that shield, you're going to be hard-pressed to actually play it, because you want that damn thing to have full effect, that way you can wipe the field. With that, I say you must have Helios Rings. I mean, you can play its lesser counterpart, the tap 4, that isn't a shield blast. Strobe Flash. But I would like to have I would much prefer the actual shield blast part of it. I mean, light focuses all on control. The ability to tap your enemy's creatures is heartedly control. For that, this fits that strategy absolutely perfect. 5 stars.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 5 stars as well. Helios Rings, with it being a shield blast, it's rare that your opponent has more than 2 creatures on the field. Especially in a heavy light blocker deck, because they may swing one and you block, they may lose a creature in the process of getting past your blocker to the shields, but for them to have more than 2 creatures on the field at one time is high. For them to have 3 or more where Storm Spark comes into play, that doesn't actually happen very often. Normally when people play Storm Spark from a shield blast, they could just as easily play Helios Rings and get what they want to do done. An analogy for this is like, when we had Rise, and we had Grave Scrounger, and then we got Evo Fury, and now we have Scavenging Chimera, and Grave Scrounger is no more. Same with Helios Rings. Strobe Flash pretty much went out the window when Helios Rings came in. It is much better to, drop a Keeper of Clouds on turn 4, and then turn 5, Helios Rings, and actually get to use it. So, 5 stars, Helios Rings, crazy good. Loving it.
Okay.
Now, I know we said that we were going to do light and water on this one, but we're looking at almost 30 minutes right now.
Yeah.
So, you want to cut this one and then we'll do water?
Yep, I'm game for that one.
Alright, so, you guys, peace out. Keep playing. SexyDreamPirate signing off. Chaos.
Have fun.
See ya.